Do not carry old battles into 2026. This is not just advice, it is a command for survival, growth, and dominion. Too many people step into New Year's dragging invisible chains, memories that still bleed, disappointments that still speak, betrayals that still define their reactions. They change the calendar, but not the condition of their heart. They celebrate a new year while still fighting wars that should have ended seasons ago. And because of this, they enter new gates already tired, already defensive, already wounded. You cannot command what you are still bleeding from. Every year has gates. Gates are decision points, transitions, moments of access and resistance. Gates determine what enters and what is kept out. Gates decide influence, authority, movement, and limitation. You do not casually walk through gates, you approach them with posture, awareness, and command. If you arrive at the gates of 2026 carrying old battles, you will negotiate instead of command. You will hesitate instead of advance. You will ask permission where you were meant to give orders. Old battles have a way of disguising themselves as wisdom. Pain says, I'm just being careful now. Fear says, I learned my lesson. Pride says, I'll never let that happen again. But many times, what we call wisdom is actually unhealed trauma. What we call caution is unresolved fear. What we call boundaries is sometimes bitterness dressed up in maturity. If you do not discern this, you will protect wounds instead of purpose. You must understand this truth. Not every battle you survived was meant to be carried as a memory into your future. Some battles were meant to teach you, not define you. Some storms were meant to strengthen you, not shape your identity. Some losses were meant to redirect you, not imprison you. When you carry old battles forward, you give them authority they were never meant to have. You allow yesterday's pain to dictate tomorrow's decisions. The danger of old battles is not just emotional exhaustion, it is spiritual misalignment. Old battles distort your vision. They make you see threats where there are opportunities. They make you hear offense where there is instruction. They make you fight people instead of patterns, symptoms instead of systems. When you are still fighting yesterday, you cannot discern today accurately. Commanding the gates of 2026 requires clarity. Clarity does not come from pretending nothing hurt, it comes from resolving what hurt so it no longer controls you. Strength is not found in denial, it is found in healing. Authority is not loud anger, it is quiet confidence rooted in alignment. You do not command gates by force alone, you command them by position. Ask yourself honestly, what battles are you still rehearsing? What arguments do you replay in your mind? What moments do you wish you could rewrite? What apologies are you still waiting for? What validation are you still chasing? These unresolved places quietly shape your reactions. They influence how you love, how you trust, how you risk, how you believe. Until they are addressed, they sit at the steering wheel of your future. Some battles ended, but you kept the armor on. You learned how to survive, but forgot how to rest. You learned how to fight, but forgot how to receive. You learned how to guard, but forgot how to open. Armor that once saved your life can now suffocate your growth. What protected you in one season can limit you in the next. 2026 is not asking you to be stronger, it is asking you to be freer. Free from grudges that drain your energy. Free from comparisons that steal your joy. Free from guilt that weakens your confidence. Free from shame that silences your voice. Free from fear that keeps you small. You cannot command gates while bound. Authority flows from freedom, not tension. Old battles also create old narratives. You begin to tell yourself stories that are no longer true. This always happens to me. People can't be trusted. Nothing ever changes. I'm just not lucky. I'm always the one who loses. These narratives feel familiar, but familiarity does not equal truth. Repeated lies become beliefs if they are never challenged. And beliefs determine behavior. Commanding the gates of 2026 means rewriting the narrative. It means speaking to yourself with truth instead of trauma. It means choosing interpretation over reaction. It means refusing to let past versions of yourself make present decisions. You are not who you were when you were wounded. You are not who you were when you were desperate. You are not who you were when you were lost. Growth has happened, even if you cannot yet see its full fruit. There is a difference between remembering and reliving. Remembering is learning, reliving is bondage. Remembering brings wisdom, reliving brings paralysis. Remembering informs your future, reliving imprisons it. If a memory still controls your emotions, it has not yet been healed. Healing does not erase memory, it removes its power. Many people think letting go means saying what happened was acceptable. It does not. Letting go means refusing to allow what happened to keep happening inside you. It means deciding that pain will not have the final word. It means choosing peace over proof, growth over grievance, purpose over pride. Letting go is not weakness, it is mastery. The gates of 2026 will not open to begging, they respond to authority. Authority comes from alignment. Alignment between who you are, what you believe, and how you act. When you carry old battles, your inner world is divided. Part of you wants to move forward, part of you is still fighting backward. Divided focus weakens command. You must arrive at 2026 undistracted. Undistracted by old conversations, undistracted by old betrayals, undistracted by old failures, undistracted by old regrets. Focus is power, peace sharpens perception, stillness strengthens discernment. When your mind is not noisy with yesterday, you can hear instructions for today. There are some doors that will only open when you stop knocking on doors that already closed. There are opportunities that will not reveal themselves while you are still mourning what did not work. Loss demands grief, but grief has a season. If grief overstays, it becomes identity, and identity shapes destiny. You are not meant to carry every loss as a scar. Some losses are meant to become seeds. Seeds must be buried, not displayed. What you bury properly can grow into something greater than what you lost. But if you keep digging it up, it cannot transform. Closure is not always an apology. Sometimes closure is acceptance. Commanding the gates of 2026 also means forgiving yourself. Many old battles are internal. Regrets about choices you made when you did not know better. Shame over moments you wish you could erase. Guilt for not being stronger, wiser, faster, braver. But you made decisions with the awareness you had at the time. Condemning your past self does not improve your future self. Compassion does. Self-forgiveness is not lowering standards, it is acknowledging growth. It is saying, I have learned, I have changed. I will move differently now. If you do not forgive yourself, you will subconsciously sabotage opportunities because you feel unworthy of them. You will shrink when you should expand. The gates ahead require boldness, not baggage. Vision, not vengeance. Courage, not caution rooted in fear. You cannot step into a commanding role while constantly looking over your shoulder. Leaders face forward. Builders face forward. Healers face forward. Warriors face forward. Old battles also affect how you treat people who had nothing to do with your pain. You become suspicious of kindness, defensive in conversation, quick to assume offense, slow to trust. This isolates you. Isolation weakens impact. You are not designed to walk alone into new seasons. Community multiplies strength. As you prepare for 2026, ask yourself, what am I carrying that no longer serves my future? What habits were formed in survival mode, but now limit my growth? What reactions were learned in crisis, but now sabotage peace? Awareness is the first act of command. You cannot change what you refuse to see. There is a moment when you must tell your past, you no longer get a vote. You can acknowledge it, learn from it, and then move beyond it. The future does not require you to forget, it requires you to lead. Lead your emotions, lead your thoughts, lead your responses. Leadership starts internally before it ever becomes external. The gates of 2026 will test your maturity, not by how loudly you fight, but by what you refuse to fight anymore. Not by how much you react, but by how much you remain steady. Not by how much you prove, but by how much you trust. Growth often looks like restraint. There are battles that end not because you won, but because you outgrew them. Some fights no longer deserve your energy. Some arguments no longer deserve your explanation. Some people no longer deserve access to your inner world. Peace is not passive, it is selective. Do not confuse familiarity with destiny. Just because you know how to survive chaos does not mean chaos is your calling. Just because you are good at enduring pain does not mean pain is your portion. You are allowed to want ease. You are allowed to pursue joy. You are allowed to expect good things without bracing for disaster. Commanding the gates of 2026 means stepping into expectation, not anxiety, faith, not fear, confidence, not comparison. You step forward not as someone hoping things go well, but as someone prepared to respond wisely no matter what comes. Prepared minds are powerful minds. This is your moment to lay down weapons that were only meant for a season, to take off armor that no longer fits, to release grudges that only poison the holder, to silence inner accusations that were never meant to be permanent, to bless what hurt you, not because it was good, but because you are done carrying it. When you enter 2026 lighter, you move faster. When you enter healed, you see clearer. When you enter free, you command naturally. Gates recognize authority that is settled, not frantic. Calm confidence opens doors that force never could. Do not drag old battles across a new threshold. Thresholds are sacred moments of transition. What you bring with you matters. Leave behind what was meant to stay in the past. Take with you wisdom, not wounds. Strength, not scars. Vision, not vengeance. Step into 2026 with your head lifted, your heart clear, and your hands open. You are not entering as a victim of what was, but as a commander of what can be. The past has spoken enough. Now it is your turn to speak, to command, to build, to lead, and to move forward without chains. Do not carry old battles into 2026. Command the gates. The future is listening. What you carry forward determines what you can conquer. Because every unresolved battle quietly consumes strength that was meant for new victories. When a battle is unfinished inside you, it does not stay in the past. It travels with you, whispers to you, influences your decisions, and colors how you see the world. You may think you left it behind, but if it still shapes your reactions, it is still alive. And anything still alive in your inner world is drawing energy, attention, and authority away from your future. Unresolved battles drain authority first. Authority is not just about position or confidence, it is about inner alignment. When your heart and mind are divided, one part pushing forward, another part still defending old wounds, you lose decisiveness. You hesitate where you should be bold. You second guess where you should command. Authority weakens when fear, resentment, or regret is still negotiating your choices. You cannot speak with conviction when your spirit is still arguing with yesterday. They also drain clarity. Old battles distort perception. Pain sharpens some senses but dulls discernment. You start interpreting new situations through old experiences. You respond to present people with past emotions. You read danger where there is none and miss opportunity because it doesn't look like what you expected. Clarity requires emotional neutrality, an ability to see what is, not what once was. As long as old conflicts are unresolved, your vision will be filtered through memory instead of truth. Most dangerously, unresolved battles drain faith. Faith thrives on trust, expectation, and forward movement. Old battles anchor faith to disappointment. They quietly say, be careful, don't hope too much, prepare to be hurt again. Over time, faith shrinks from bold belief to cautious survival. You still believe, but you no longer expect. You pray, but without anticipation. You hope, but with conditions. This is not because you lack faith. It is because your faith is exhausted from carrying weight it was never meant to hold. What you carry forward becomes the limit of what you can conquer. If you carry fear, you will negotiate instead of advance. If you carry bitterness, you will react instead of lead. If you carry regret, you will shrink instead of step forward. But if you carry wisdom without wounds, strength without resentment, and faith without fear, you will conquer with clarity and authority. To move forward fully, some battles must be resolved, not revisited. Some memories must be healed, not rehearsed. Some seasons must be closed, not explained. Letting go is not forgetting. It is choosing not to let the past drain the power needed for the future. Because what you carry into the next season will determine not just where you go, but how strongly you arrive. New seasons require new commands. Every season of life comes with a set of gates, thresholds that respond to authority, clarity, and readiness. A gate is not merely a door, it is a test, a point of transition, a space where potential is released or blocked depending on how prepared you are. To step into a new season successfully, you must speak, act, and position yourself in ways that match the demands of that season. And here is the truth: you cannot command new gates with old wounds, old fears, or old mindsets. Old wounds whisper, "You cannot handle this." They make you hesitant to move boldly, cautious to embrace opportunity, and quick to retreat from risk. They anchor your spirit in yesterday, replaying old pain in your present, and sabotaging your ability to issue commands that are clear and powerful. A mind occupied with past hurt cannot focus on future strategy. A heart clinging to old pain cannot lead with courage or authority. New gates demand confidence that can only come from healed hearts. Old fears distort perception. They convince you that the challenges of today are bigger than they are, that dangers are lurking where they are not, and that success is always just out of reach. Fear is a liar that turns potential into paralysis. You cannot step into the assignments of a new season while allowing yesterday's fears to dictate your decisions. Gates do not respond to anxiety, they respond to faith in alignment with vision. To command the new, fear must be addressed, confronted, and surrendered. Old mindsets are perhaps the subtlest enemy. The world you are leaving behind had limitations, rules, and perspectives that shaped you. But if you carry those into a new season, they become a prison. Mindsets formed in survival, scarcity, or defeat are ill-suited for expansion, victory, and authority. You cannot step into abundance with a mindset of lack, cannot embrace leadership with a mindset of doubt, cannot claim breakthrough with a mindset of limitation. New seasons demand that your thinking evolves as your circumstances do. To command new gates, you must cultivate new alignment, clarity in your vision, courage in your heart, and wisdom in your actions. This means learning to release what no longer serves you, letting go of old grudges, old regrets, old beliefs, and stepping forward with confidence, focus, and expectation. Every command you give in the new season must be issued from a place of peace, authority, and faith, not from a place of unresolved history or fear of repeating the past. Remember, gates respond to authority, not desperation, clarity, not confusion, faith, not fear. If you try to carry yesterday's battles, doubts, or constraints into the next season, you will stumble. But if you shed old burdens, embrace healing, and adopt the mindset suited for your new season, the gates will open at your voice. What you command in the coming year will not merely be a wish. It will be a decree that aligns with purpose, potential, and destiny. In short, old wounds must be healed, old fears must be faced, and old mindsets must be renewed. Only then can you step into 2026 ready to command the gates with authority, clarity, and unshakable faith. The season is calling for boldness, not baggage, for vision, not hesitation, for freedom, not fear. Letting go is not defeat. It is strategic obedience that positions you to rule, not merely survive, the coming year. Many people misunderstand the act of releasing. They see it as weakness, as giving up, as surrendering to circumstances. But in truth, letting go is one of the strongest spiritual and emotional decisions you can make. It is a declaration that you will no longer allow the past to dictate your present, and that you are choosing alignment with purpose over attachment to pain. It is not a retreat, it is a repositioning for victory. To let go is to recognize that some battles are no longer yours to fight. Some arguments, some hurts, some disappointments, some toxic relationships, these were either lessons or warnings, not permanent assignments. Carrying them forward will only exhaust your energy and cloud your judgment. Letting go is strategic because it frees up the mental, emotional, and spiritual resources you need to face the battles that truly matter in the new season. It is the art of discerning what deserves your attention and what must be released for you to advance. Letting go also honors obedience to God's timing and wisdom. Often, we cling to pain, resentment, or fear because we want justice on our own timetable, or we feel entitled to answers before we can move. But God's instructions are not always about holding on, sometimes they are about release. Obedience in letting go is trusting that the Creator of time, opportunity, and destiny knows what battles are worth fighting and which ones should be left behind. This obedience positions you under His guidance and protection, rather than under the tyranny of your own unresolved emotions. When you release the past strategically, you do not become passive, you become purposeful. You are no longer surviving day to day, weighed down by what you cannot change. You begin ruling with vision, influence, and authority. Survival is reactive. It responds to circumstances. Rulership is proactive. It dictates the pace, direction, and scope of your life. The person who clings to old battles reacts. The person who lets go creates. The person who releases expands. Letting go also prepares your heart for new assignments. A hand that is clenched cannot receive. A mind that is obsessed cannot hear instructions. A heart that is bitter cannot lead with wisdom or love. By letting go, you create space for new blessings, new revelations, and new opportunities. You step into the new year with readiness to receive, authority to act, and clarity to discern. Finally, letting go is an act of faith. It is saying, I trust that what God has for me is bigger than what I am leaving behind. It is not denial of pain, but a declaration that pain will not have power over your future. It is not forgetting, but refusing to be defined by history. Letting go is strategic, obedient, and bold. It is how you rule rather than merely survive the coming year. It is how you enter 2026 lighter, sharper, and unshakable, ready to command every gate and seize every opportunity that aligns with your destiny. In essence, letting go is not losing. It is winning before you even enter the battlefield of the new year. It is the choice of those who are determined to move forward in authority, clarity, and faith, leaving behind what no longer serves the mission and stepping fully into the season, prepared to conquer.